Welcome back to Nanodosing. It is Monday, December 5th as I'm recording this. And when Avery's going to put it out, he's putting it out secretly early tonight.
You make me do it again?
You're probably listening to this on Tuesday, December 6th. It's probably Tuesday, and that's good. That's good. I'm glad that you're joining us. We are back. We are better than ever. We've got the entire squad here. And it's brought to you by my good friends over at Hey Dude Shoes. I was wearing these Hey Dude shoes yesterday during football. Perfect TV watching shoes. People don't talk about like shoes that are made for watching television enough. You do need a specific type of shoe for an entire day spent on a couch. They're perfect house shoes, as Billy says. Great, like quick put on shoes if you're going to go outside and walk the dog, go out, check the mail, go to the store real quick, run out for an errand. Perfect shoes for all these sorts of things. Super light, super comfortable. They remind me of that feeling of coming home after a long day where you sink into your favorite chair on the couch, you pop open a beverage, and you feel the good vibes instantly wash over you. That's exactly how your feet feel the second that you put on a pair of Hey Dude shoes. They're the comfiest, lightest, coziest shoes out there. Easy to put on. They look good with just about anything. Come to think of it, Hey Dude shoes are kind of like a home for your feet. Welcome home, toes. Use code BARSTOOL for 15% off at heydude.com. Grab a pair for yourself or as a gift to special guys and gals in your life this holiday season. That's heydude.com. Hey Dude, good to go. All right, we're back. Love you guys. Hope everybody had a great weekend here. I missed you all. I guess we can just start right away with, I know that Big T's fired up about some Tennessee things. We can get right into the Tennessee Minute if you want.
I didn't know that I was.
Oh, you're not? Because last I checked, you were getting very hypothetically upset about the fact that hypothetically Alabama could sneak into the Final Four and not Tennessee. Even though none of that happened. You were still getting mad at the hypothetical.
Well, yeah, because it was ridiculous that they were ranked ahead of us and still were, but we ended up getting a better bowl game destination than they did anyway. So
there we go. So it's the Orange Bowl.
The orangest bowl.
Orangest of all the orange bowls. Only way it could get oranger, I think, if Syracuse was in it. If Syracuse,
that's a better orange than which one?
No, I'm just saying they are the orange. It's
okay, that's true. They should let both teams wear orange.
They should.
They're cowards if they don't.
That would be incredible football.
And we have an orange helmet now, so both teams all orange.
Ari he winced when he heard the sound of that.
Disgusting.
But it'd be so disgusting, it'd be amazing.
No.
Can
you imagine being the quarterback in that situation?
Tough.
It'd be tough, but it'd be unlike any football that I've ever seen before.
That's where we separate the men from the boys. Let's see how good you really are at reading a defense.
Yeah, listen, how good are you at just like recognizing different colored uniforms?
Anyone can find where the defenders are when they're wearing blue.
Yeah, agreed. You know what? Big T's talked me into it. Let both teams wear orange.
Yeah.
I love that idea. They won't. Can you imagine being a referee in that game?
They wouldn't do any worse job than they usually do.
It'd be basically impossible. Well, I mean, we can reach the conclusion that while referees are not perfect, reffing football is really hard. It's extremely difficult to do. Everything happen in fast speed like that. Of course, they're not going to get everything. The human eye is not fast enough for it.
AI refs?
No, I like the human element. I like the fact that things make mistakes sometimes that we can complain about, you know? If everything was perfect, if it was like, that's what I don't like about soccer using VAR all the time, is sometimes they're whistling dudes who are, like their shoulder is slightly offsides, but most of their body is in an onside position. And it's just like, that should be, according to a normal human, that's onside. I get upset about that.
That rule needs to be changed. It should just be your legs.
Just
if your legs are behind the defender, like if your hand is past him, who cares? Yeah. Your legs are behind him.
I was always taught growing up that it was like where your center mass is, like the core of your upper body.
That's fine too.
That's what I always called it by. But having like your arms count, it's really strange.
Or what if it's like throwing a forward pass at the line of scrimmage? It's your farthest back, like foot.
Well, no, because then you could be off. But like just make it your chest or your legs or something.
Yo, 4 crypto billionaires killed in mysterious circumstances in the last 3 weeks.
All right.
Is this true?
Yes.
Because you're the first person I've heard talk about this, which could be a product of the fake news media, but I haven't heard about this anywhere else. And I feel like billionaires dying, I would have heard.
Okay, so here are the 4. Vyacheslav Taran, mysterious helicopter crash. Javier Biosco jumped from the 5th floor of a hotel in Spain. Tantian Kullander unexpectedly died in his sleep at 30. And then this 4th dude tweeted that the CIA and Mossad were after him and then was found drowned 4 days later.
All right, so I'm trying to find a reputable news source behind this. All I've got so far is, let's see, this one person is a law grad, and it looks like she's a matchmaker, and she's got the blue check mark.
I've got Rap House TV reporting on it.
Nikolai
I did
Mushigan.
I saw Rap House TV. Bitcoin Baddies is reporting on it as well. She's a Twitter Spaces host.
I'm just asking questions.
You may have heard of her. In her bio, she says shit poster.
It's not what you want.
So, Candace Owens reported on that guy as well.
Okay, then it's real.
Yeah.
No, just one. I think this might be a compounding variable of dudes getting super rich in a weird space that is now having some troubles currently, and I think maybe a lot of it's self-inflicted.
What are they speculating right now?
I think some of these guys are the next smaller scale SBFs, so they're all kind of
They know that they're
gonna be next.
Yeah. I would also say that people that just get handed billions of dollars are probably going to do some very reckless behaviors over the course of the first 3 years that they have billions of dollars in their pocket.
True.
From basically doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on. What would the reason be to hunt all these people down and kill them? Because you can't take their money. That's kind of the whole thing, right? Their money is stashed online, and you need a scrap of paper that's probably written down underneath their desk phone at their computer, to get the password to get into the wallet.
No.
So if you kill somebody like this, you can't take their Bitcoin out of their pocket.
The conspiracy amongst the crypto bros is that the national treasury, what is it? The centralized treasury thinks that Bitcoin's decentralized and a threat to the US dollar's supremacy in the world. And they're taking these guys out to prevent Bitcoin from becoming the true financial freedom of the world.
Bitcoin dudes love to think that they're the main character.
Yeah.
In this movie that's about their lives.
Yeah.
They think that the world is like a script that's being written about them and how special they are. I highly doubt that there's a conspiracy out there to kill all the apes guys. I could see the apes dudes having some sort of pact amongst themselves.
The NFT.
Yeah, because these dudes they're a bunch of weirdos, and they get addicted to all these cheap thrills. I wouldn't be surprised if they had that game Assassins.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard about that? Where you write down on a piece of paper somebody else's name that you're hanging out with, and then that person's objective is to assassinate them, whether it's over the course of a weekend or the course of a month at school. But it's people do it with water pistols, water balloons, things like that. And then you're always looking over your shoulder for an assassin. I bet you that there's definitely some crypto collectives that are actually playing the game Assassins for fun.
Hey, run that back.
All right, so team building activities. So start of training camp for the Texans. Everybody puts their name into a hat, and then everyone one by one goes around the room and takes out somebody's name out of that hat. So Brian Cushing comes up and he pulls out Arian Foster, and he doesn't tell anybody this, but Arian, you go up there and you open it up and you have Matt Schaub, right? And so your objective is to assassinate Matt Schaub at some point between now and let's say 2 weeks from now. So depending on the rules of the game, you can have a water balloon, you can have a water pistol or an airsoft gun or something like that. And your goal is to try to get to that person before whoever has your name gets to you to kill you.
Another cool one is just saying their middle name, but it can't be in school. It has to be off school premises.
What do you mean?
So you sneak up on someone and say their name while they can't see you. That's a classic one instead of a water pistol.
That's how you get to them?
Yeah.
Just by saying their name?
Yeah.
You just yell it at them from across the street.
No, but you have to be They can't. You have to sneak up on them and like whisper their name in their ear without them knowing.
Okay, got
Sinister.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fun game. It did cause a couple car accidents in the time I heard about it.
How did he cause car accidents?
People were getting into car chases trying to assassinate each
Trying
other.
to say somebody else's name?
Yeah, because they'd like pull up to people's houses and stuff, hide in their bushes,
Yeah.
and then like someone would roll up and they'd be like, "Oh my god!" Then they'd whip out, and the other person would chase them down in the car.
Billy Football.
Yeah, that. I guess that'd be really creepy to hear somebody whisper your middle name to you when you're not expecting it.
Yeah, should we play assassin? The funnest part is that if you assassinate somebody, you then have to go assassinate who their target was,
Their person?
and then that's how it's an elimination.
Huh. We could do a game of assassins.
Yeah,
Just
What's the kill? Is it fun with like only six? What do we got? 6 people?
it could be fun. The thing is, we'd have to be like, you can't assassinate people in the office or at work events.
So then it sounds to me like it would just turn into stalking.
Yeah, no, that's what it happens. Is like you have to be like super assassiny, and like it gets a little weird. Like when someone's just hiding in your apartment building hallway.
So yeah, I think that's definitely what these crypto guys are doing. They're playing a game of assassins.
Or
all
they're
with
faking
each
their
other.
own death to avoid all the fraud charges. they're gonna get.
That's another possibility is you'll fake your own death. Except one of it looks like it was a helicopter crash.
Yeah.
That's pretty tough to fake, especially with all the emergency response vehicles. Oh, it crashed
In Russia?
No, this helicopter crashed in Villefranche-sur-Mer in southern France. I spent a week there
Oh.
a couple years ago
Huh.
at my most bougie vacation ever. It kicks ass. I get the south of France now. It's pretty amazing.
Sweet.
Any other vacation tips you guys have? Just let me know. I'm kind of an expert now.
How's Panama?
Panama, France, everywhere. Panama is very fun. Panama's a good time. What happens in Panama stays in Panama. I can't get into too many of the details, but I came back on Saturday night and I stayed there all day Friday. I left Friday morning at 1:30, right after we're done recording part of my take. I flew to Panama, got there at like 6 a.m., partied that day, that night, partied a little bit on Saturday, and then got on a plane and flew back so I could come back for NFL Sunday. So my brain is right now starting to feel like it's back to normal from this weekend. Panama is a very underrated place to go. I highly recommend it. It's got cool beaches there. It's got the canal. It's not that hard to get to. Everything's pretty cheap there. The dollar is quite strong. There's a lot of fun stuff to do.
Do they have any like pictures of Teddy Roosevelt?
I didn't go on like a historical tour of Panama while I was there because it was a bachelor party. I mean, don't get me wrong, we did. We spent like 9 or 10 hours in the libraries and going on the guided nature walks, but there were other activities that we were more interested in than that. It was a good time. So I give Panama a 10 out of 10. If anyone's looking to go, I have a few recommendations for you.
Did you see the canal?
Saw the canal.
What's it looking like?
It's strong. The canal's looking good. No ships were stuck in it at the time.
That's wrong canal.
No, it's the Panama Canal. There are no ships stuck in the Panama Canal.
No,
either.
but Suez was where there was
I'm
the
aware.
blockage.
I'm aware. But Panama Canal looking strong. It looks good. It's actually not as big as I thought it would be.
Did you see the systems?
I didn't go on I didn't go on a tour of
you really wasted this trip to Panama. What the hell were you doing?
I didn't go on an engineering
Was
tour.
that for
of
a
Panama.
bachelor party, you dweeb?
Yeah, but like,
Go to
why wouldn't you
museums?
check out the amazing engineering feat that's the Panama Canal while you're in Panama?
Because I had other things that were more pressing
Yeah,
issues.
but you
at the
could probably
time.
do those things anywhere. Wasted
Not true.
trip.
Not true. I did get back from Panama and I Googled drug laws in Panama just because I'm home safely now. And I was just curious if the guys that I left behind there, if they were into any sort of things like that, what kind of danger they could be in. I'm such an idiot. Whenever I go overseas, I just always assume that the drug laws over there are basically Amsterdam. Like when I was in Hong Kong with Donnie and he was like, "Do you want to try this MDMA?" I'd never done MDMA before. And I was like, "Yeah, sure, we're in Hong Kong. It's probably cool over here. No one's going to get mad about that." And then I come back and I realize it's like extremely strict laws against MDMA over there.
This is why you just stick with light beer.
Yeah, could stick with light beer for sure. Panama.
How was the MDMA?
In Hong Kong.
Well, I mean, just how was it in general?
Way too strong.
Yeah.
It turned me off it forever.
So you weren't turned on while you were on it?
Not at all. Not at all. I took too much, and so I kind of lost control a little bit and just had to sit down for a while because I didn't really understand what was going on.
Really? I've never heard anybody lose functionality on it before.
Well, I don't know what else was in there. There's probably a high probability it was cut with something else because it was
Meth.
It was MDMA in Hong Kong. Could have had meth in it. It was like brown. So yeah, it was Molly. So I don't know what drugs they cut it with, but it wasn't that fun. But it was all on camera, so you can see me just be real messed up off it and not really understand what's going on. But then you know what? For the first 2 hours I was on it, not good, and then for the rest of the time, it got a lot better. So I guess what I'm saying, kids, is if you are doing drugs, be very, very careful because you don't know what they're cut. That's just like the reality is like you don't know what any drugs are mixed with these days.
Might be meth.
Yeah, and then you might have a real freak out about it, and then you might get arrested and start riots, and then have the entire world go to shit shortly thereafter from COVID. Because that's what happened when I did meth.
You know what? I'm just going to come out and say it. I think that COVID was a way to stop the Hong Kong riots and all the social uprising in China. I mean, think about it. It is the perfect way to control a population. This was my take when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's kill millions and stop. Yes, let's do it, Billy.
Dude,
it's
I
great.
mean, if there's a population. I'm just saying.
Fire take. What a fire take.
I think I wrote that in literally December. Because when it first came out.
Yeah.
When we were seeing like the people getting sick in China, like all those weird videos of people falling over in like December 2019, I literally thought it was a fake flu to get to put the genie back in the box with all those protests.
Mm-hmm.
That's my first take on it.
Who knew you were right? That's crazy. What a soothsayer.
I know, but like I still think there's something to that.
There might be, Billy.
Yeah.
I do know that in China they're starting to deal with more protest about lockdown now because China's been trying to do zero COVID policy, and that's pretty much impossible to do. We figured that out. I thought they would figure that out by now. It's like you can't have zero COVID.
But you know what really pissed off the Chinese people was turns out some of the government contractors manufacturing the tests were giving a super high false positive rate. Because the more positives, the more tests they could sell. And that really ticked them off.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's actually
because you have to retest the positive people.
It's a genius idea, though. Just sell a bunch of tests that are positive.
A lot of healthcare made off with a lot of money from this pandemic. I know a dude who just bought a warehouse and filled it with medical supplies, and he made off like a bandit.
Isn't that price gouging? Or you're just describing one of the price gouging guys?
Yeah, he was a price gouging guy.
Yeah, those guys suck.
Yeah.
They're the worst.
What's his name?
I went to school with him. I went without him.
Yeah, that's such a shitty thing to do.
Well, you should, because he's a piece of shit.
You remember those dudes that would like fill their garages up with like masks and gloves and shit, right?
Or toilet paper, yeah.
Or diapers. That was the worst. Somebody bought like all the diapers in his local area, and then every parent was like, yo, what the fuck? We need diapers for, like, that's something for your baby that you actually need. That was messed up.
Some guy in the corner said, heard you looking for some shit catcher.
I'll also, another nice thing to say about Panama, gas there is extremely cheap because they're smoking that Maduro pack.
Thank you, Joe Biden.
No, that Venezuelan pack?
Yeah, they're getting,
shit.
It's like 98 cents a gallon down there.
Dude, do the tankers fill up there?
I don't know. There's a ton of boats that are just chilling out, like, because
you see
the way that the geography of Panama is set up is you fly into the Pacific side of it, but since it's like on the southern part and it's kind of facing east, the sun actually rises over the Pacific Ocean.
No way.
In Panama City. Yeah.
Wait.
Think about that, Billy.
I'm trying to think about it.
Yeah, it'll fuck you up. So
it's fucking me up hard right now.
So we think of the Pacific Ocean as being west, right?
Yeah.
But in parts of Panama, the Pacific Ocean is actually slightly out towards the east because of the shape of the Isthmus of Panama.
Oh yeah.
So
no,
I
I've
got
seen it.
I'm one of the only people that have seen the sun rise over the Pacific Ocean
Whoa.
in America.
In Panama. Oh yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Yep.
This is like, all these things is what you should have been doing in Panama while you were there. Like,
Don't tell me what I should have been doing. I had a
like
great time.
checking out the boats and stuff.
I saw the
and
boats.
learning about the country, but no.
I saw the boats. There's a bunch of islands that look like they're in Jurassic Park,
Whoa.
like the Jurassic Park islands out there. A lot of formerly volcanic activity. You're not supposed to go too far outside of the city. I did learn that too. If you go too close to Colombia, that's bad news.
Well, how big is it? Panama. I'm looking at it on a map right now. It looks pretty big to like accidentally end up in Colombia from Panama City.
Yeah, it's a few hours
Okay.
drive, but you're still not supposed to go down there. What else about Panama? There's a great building, one of the all-time buildings that is extremely recognizable from Skyline. It looks like a giant screw.
What's it called?
I think it's called El Tornillo, the screw. I think it's just called the Screw Building in Panama. Outstanding.
Screw building.
Great skyline.
Did you go in it?
I did not go in it, but I was around it.
Oh, that's
quite
cool.
frequently. Yeah,
That is cool.
It's a very good building. As far as like skyline defining buildings go, that's got to be up there.
F&F Tower.
Yep.
What it's called.
There's it's a good country. Panama gets a 10 out of 10 for me. I hope to be back soon. Yep.
Liver King apologized.
Okay. What did he say?
He said, "I'm sorry that I did steroids and lied to you all. I was too busy inspiring all the people who suffer from mental health issues."
Okay, that's good spin zone.
And like literally, I think word for word, he goes, "I'm sorry for what I did, but 40,000 people kill themselves every day." And that was sort of his reasoning. Pretty wild.
So he was saying that by being Liver King, people
Yeah.
weren't going to kill themselves.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
Okay, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
He's still in Mongolia, right?
Yeah, he's just eating yak liver and playing with eagles.
Not a bad gig to get if you can get it. Arian, how was your weekend?
It was pretty chill, man. I went to the Texans game for the first time since I played.
Yeah, that's right. I saw you there. You were up in you were in the suite level?
Yeah, the lady there that I'm in contact with, like with player operations, she got me in the fam, and it was cool, man. Seen a lot of people I ain't seen in years. Good times, man.
What was it like? What was the atmosphere for Deshaun's return?
Nobody really cared like that. He got booed a lot. He didn't really. I mean, I was watching some of the game, didn't watch a lot of it, but from what I saw, it's looking kind of rusty. But yeah, it was a cool experience.
That was
there.
that was to be expected with Deshaun. I thought like people were saying he was going to come back and like blow the Texans out of the water. I don't know. I felt like 2 years is a very long time to not play football.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I play. I was in. I had played. I got a fantasy league with a bunch of cats we used to play with, and I was whooping his ass. Well, I would have whooped his ass, but the Cleveland defense put up 30 points by themselves, dog, on the Texans offense, and I'm just like, cuz, like, how you can't even account for that, like, nonsense.
The best strategy then would just be to pick up whatever defense is playing against the Texans that weekend.
Yeah,
Just a rotating
I think
cast.
that's what he's doing. Yeah, I think that's what he's doing.
But it was good to go back to the stadium.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was cool. Had a lot of good times, man. Seen a lot of people I ain't seen in a long time. Might go back a little bit more.
That's
fun.
good. That's good. I'm recovering from a tie yesterday, but it was a good tie. It was a productive tie. We tied them. They didn't tie us. So Commanders.
Our tie.
Yeah, it's our tie. Commanders tied Giants 2020. Avery. Good tie.
Yeah.
Good tie. I think both sides at some point thought that they were going to lose that game. So I actually thought that we were going to lose that game in overtime because it just looked like you guys had all the momentum. And then Brian Dable was like, "Here you go. we'll just give you the ball back. That was nice of him.
Yeah, it was tough seeing them not go for it on 4th and 3 there, but at the same time, they got the ball back. They trusted their defense, but there wasn't enough time. I will say, though, that I was really shocked that he didn't do that.
Yeah, and also there was one hit that you guys got, a sack that you got on Heineke in overtime, where I thought for sure he was going to fumble the ball.
Yeah,
you got him on the blind side. Yeah, Kayvon Thibodeau came off. I don't think we even blocked him. I think our tackle like chipped down before he even stepped out, and Thibodeau just hit him straight up in the back as he was holding on to the ball with one hand. Didn't fumble. That's always amazing to me when quarterbacks are able to not fumble when they don't see a guy coming in that's about to hit them, and they just get lit up.
Yeah, Heineke's solid, man. I mean, the receiving core you guys have is pretty legit. I know Jahan Dotson, Penn State guy. He's awesome. Yeah, you guys have a great team. I think the NFC Beast has never been better.
I would love it. I would love it if we got all 4 teams in the playoffs.
I think it's gonna happen.
That would be sick. And then in the AFC, that might happen with the AFC East. We'll see what the Patriots are able to do, but right now it's looking pretty good.
It's that freaking Rutherford air that just blew the ball back.
It was crazy.
Graham Gano hits that. Like he's
a good kicker.
Yeah, he's a great kicker. And I obviously if it's a dome that goes in, I just think it's that MetLife Rutherford wind just knocked it down.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Billy? You get anything fun this weekend?
I went to a reptile show on Sunday.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be coming out on Part of My Take TV Thursday and Friday.
What's a reptile show?
It's like a dog show, but for reptiles. So it's also sort of like a convention.
Were people like walking? Were they walking their reptiles around?
Yeah, I mean,
and getting judged?
There's some serious breeders who are displaying their color morphs and different hybrids. It was actually quite fascinating. There's a whole hobbyist type collective which really concentrates on, selling extremely expensive herps, as they refer to them, herp culture, herpetology. And there was like some $100,000 snakes at this thing. It was really cool.
What is a $100,000 snake?
Like a snake that through intensive breeding for certain colors, in like rarity. So for example, like, albinos are rarer than regular colored snakes, right?
Okay, yeah.
So like there's certain stuff, color morphs like albinism that if you cross and stuff, there's like super complicated genetic structures that people desire more because of their rarity.
$100,000 though.
Yeah.
Who's buying these snakes for $100,000?
Hobbyists, people who find value in it. Like I was talking to some guy who's like, well, a snake like this is an investment.
Yeah. Did you buy anything?
No.
Did you see that? There's this dude that bred like an emoji on a snake.
Oh, that.
So like so like there's like a genetic thing where it looks like a little smiley emoji.
Oh wow. That's a piebald. That looks like a piebald ball python. I'm looking at that now. It literally has smiley faces.
Yeah.
They look like jack-o'-lanterns. Oh, there's several of them. So that
he bred it. He bred it for that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So this took 8 years of trying, and it can sell. It's being sold for at least $10,000. Wow. Huh.
That's I don't understand how that's possible to breed an emoji, like a specific design.
Yeah, look, but that's what's so they refer to this different animals as like canvases. Mm-hmm. So snakes are pretty classic because they're easy to keep and they have large broods, as they say. So they can, there's many hatchlings and to, differentiate from. Yeah. But there's a lot of inbreeding in it because they try to, get the recessive traits to come out.
Yeah, Billy just turned his computer towards me to show me the snake, and then he also has a Wikipedia page open on the right side. Featuring the design that Kanye West prominently posted on Twitter.
Turns
on
out
Thursday night, which ended up getting him kicked off.
Let me defend it.
No, I am. I was just bringing it up. I mean, you can't just put that in my face and have me not.
I forgot that was
anything.
there. So this one guy tweeted Kanye West was suspended for posting the symbol of the Raelian religious movement.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he was trying to do.
I was like, what the hell is that? Because I
looked into that too.
Yeah, I didn't know it because when it first came out, I was like, that doesn't look. He's not clever. Well, he is very clever, artistically.
I mean, he made graduation.
I know, but I was like, that symbol's definitely been used before for something else because and it turns out it was for this like UFO religion that was founded in the 1970s in France by Claude Vorhillon, which is it says that like every religious figure was inspired by aliens, and every communication from the gods has actually been communications with alien entities, and that's where that symbol's from.
Okay.
So that's why I was reading that because I was curious.
I will back Billy that is true because I came across it. I came across somebody's tweet because I was reading underneath the thread of when Kanye had posted that, and then somebody had posted a link about realism or whatever it is, and they had that symbol, and so I just started reading about it, and I watched a couple YouTube things on it, and it's like a little cult almost, but it's like kind of harmless, not harmless, but it's like they're not like a death cult or anything like that, but they kind of believe, like he said, about aliens and gods and otherworldly beings. It's interesting. I don't know why they chose that symbol, but it's interesting.
Yeah, they're headquartered in Switzerland, but they have a lot of Japanese followers because part of their dogma is that the atomic bombing of Hiroshima in 1945 is when humanity entered an age of apocalypse, which it threatens itself. So that sort of resonates with a lot of people in Japan. So there's actually tons of Japanese followers of the alien movement. It's pretty small,
wild.
But
so when Kanye posted that, what do you think he was trying to do though?
oh no, yeah, not that. But I was curious that there was another group that used that symbol, and I was like, who the hell is this group?
I think Kanye is like a lot of Americans out there who just go on the internet and find shit and like unregulated. That's their truth. So like wherever he's at in his current YouTube history, like that's what he believes in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah,
he's just one of those. If you don't have no like filter in which to view the world, like you're just susceptible to anything. And I really think that's his issue.
But how do you explain this? So
he was talking about clone.
Yeah.
He just real quick. He just posted on Instagram about Elon Musk as a clone.
Yeah,
shit like that.
I have it up right.
But okay, read it.
Am I the only one who thinks Elon could be half Chinese? Have you ever seen his pics as a child? Take a Chinese genius and mate them with a South African supermodel, and we have an Elon. I say un-Elon because they probably made 10 to 30 Elons, and he's the first genetic hybrid that's stuck. Well, let's not forget about Obama. I'm sorry for using curse words in church, but I don't have another word for Obama yet. Yay 24, let's unify and find out. LUAFO. Yeah, that's weird.
LUAFO. Let's unify and find out.
Oh.
I like that. That part of the message is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The rest of it sucks.
Well, the thing is, I think he saw that video of the guy in China who looks exactly like Elon that posts TikToks. There's a Chinese Elon Musk.
Yeah, I think Kanye West is just like, he's just riding the algorithm.
Yeah.
That's the greatest description of what's going on with Kanye, is he's just surfing the algorithm 1000%.
He's just, I mean, imagine if you're Kanye West, you don't have to do anything that nobody no one's your boss. You haven't had a boss in probably 20 years, 25 years. You just do whatever it is that you want to do at all times, which probably leads itself to a lot of just sitting down and watching YouTube and then watching the next video that's suggested to you. I mean, that's what we all would do probably. It's just like watch the next video that's suggested either by YouTube or by TikTok. But the bottom line is all of us have places to go and things to do because we have jobs and bosses. So we don't have the luxury of just spending hours at a time just letting that get mainlined into our system. Kanye West, he can do that all day long if he wants to. And it sounds like that's exactly what he's been doing.
Yeah.
Although
that's a great description. Riding the algorithm.
Just surfing it. Surfing like a wave. His appearance on the Alex Jones show was it was disturbing, but it was also hilarious to watch Alex Jones turn into the moderator on that show, and to try to like
he's the sensible one.
he was like trying to reel him in a little bit, and to try to like give him all these off ramps and explanations for maybe why he's saying the things that he's saying. Like when Kanye is like, "I love Hitler," and then Alex Jones is like, "Well, it sounds like you're talking. He had cool uniforms, so we could say Hugo Boss did some good uniforms for that." And then Kanye would be like, "No, I like him. He had good ideas. I admire Adolf Hitler." And then Alex Jones would be like, "Oh, we got to go commercial. You can say all this stuff. I'm not with you on the Jewish stuff and the Nazi stuff. We're not saying, if you're just listening, we're not saying that that Hitler was good or that we like Hitler. We're having an open conversation." And then the camera starts to pan out, and Kanye's like, "No, I like Hitler."
Dude, the wildest
I've
thing.
never seen Alex Jones do a nervous laugh before. And there were like 3 or 4 times where he nervously laughed after Kanye said something crazy. And I was like, oh my God, like if Alex Jones is nervous about saying shit, like you got a problem.
The wildest thing is when he took an aquarium net out, and he goes, and he takes the net out, and he goes, "This is Benjamin Netanyahu," and this is.
He had a thing of Yoo-hoo too.
He's like, what do you think about Benjamin? Like, he's like
I'm gonna
asking
take your
questions.
family. It was ridiculous.
I haven't seen that part. I did see the part where he's fucking. This one I was like, come on, kid, like. You defending Herschel Walker now? Like, that's wild. Like, I was like, you fully like just a conservative like pundit now. It's hilarious.
That's the part that you're shocked about.
Yeah.
Not all the other shit.
Well, I didn't say I wasn't shocked by the other part, but that's the part when I was like, you went full conservative, because before he likes to straddle the fence on political, and he's like, I don't do politics, but like when you're directly defending Herschel Walker, and like you're a conservative pundit. You're not a. Go ahead.
So just like, what happens to Kanye now? Because he's very clearly having a mental breakdown publicly.
He needs to have, I'm telling you, like Scientology needs to approach Kanye West and be like, Kanye, you're so close to figuring it out. Here's what you have to do. Here's all the places let's fill in some of these gaps for you. Let's check your thetan levels. Let's see what's going on with all that. Just spend some time in one of our lovely locations for the next 2 weeks. I think they could get Kanye West real hard into Scientology. He could pivot into that.
But like seriously though, like what's gonna happen to him? Like that
would probably be the healthiest.
So
thing
he's
for him
too
right
crazy
now.
for Alex Jones.
Huh?
So like, what does he do now? Because he can't.
President.
I think he is officially like. I don't know the kind of sales numbers it would do if he came out with an album, but like I think people are really like don't want to associate with him anymore.
Yeah.
So So I just don't know
openly
like what.
expressing your admiration for Hitler and the
Yeah.
Nazi Party in no uncertain terms.
And not even like the what school was it? It was Eastern Michigan or something. Some directional school hired like a position coach football a few years ago, and the student newspaper asked him if you could have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would it be? And it was like, well, I'd really like to talk to Hitler just to see like what he was thinking. Obviously, you should never say that. But I mean, Kanye's just straight up like, no, Hitler was good.
Yeah.
Like
It's kind of shocking to hear anybody say that.
yeah. So like what?
Wow.
What does he do now?
I don't know. I don't know that there's an off ramp for this.
No, there's no rebound. There's no rebound.
Have you guys?
He just spirals until he's just the crazy guy in the corner. Like that's unfortunately, that's what is going to happen.
I've heard a lot of speculation that he's off his medication right now, which would explain a lot.
He did say that in a song.
Yeah.
That if he goes off his Lexapro, things are bad.
Yeah. This is man, imagine like
Lexapro?
Imagine getting back on your medication and you start to realize all the things that you've done in the past like month. And if you're Kanye West, you have like somebody plays back all your television appearances on the Alex Jones show. That's about as bad as it can get, I would imagine.
Like my guy's literally just going on a tour with Nick Fuentes, man. Like what the like like some of the most influential and amazing people in the world, and you're got a fucking sushi joint with Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, he was
What
like
the
a
fuck is you doing,
hibachi joint in like a strip mall.
And Nick Fuentes is like, isn't he like 20 something?
Yeah.
Like, bro, you 40. You walking around with a fucking 20-year-old Nazi. Like, go find a 40-year-old Nazi. Like, why? Like, I still make none of it makes any fucking sense. None of it makes
Fuentes
sense.
seems like he's the one that's probably the happiest about all this.
Oh, he loves
It's
it.
because he's
Like,
gotten so much attention out of all of it.
What's his?
I mean,
background?
he's a white nationalist. He's literally wants an ethno state, and so to hear a black man say all of this shit is like he's creaming his pants every time he talks.
I think Fuentes is he's like a 24, 25-year-old. He's an internet troll, openly declared himself to be white nationalist. He leads the Groyper movement, which is a bunch of trolls. Like, he's got troll army online that they tune into all his live streams and shit. He's the guy that said that having sex with women was the gayest thing that you could do. But again, I think that might be him trolling a little bit. He's definitely branded himself as an incel troll, but he's like open about it. I think he's one of these guys that at the end of the day, he just loves attention, and he's figured out a way to get attention for it. And the way that he's done it is by openly like declaring himself to be like a very bad human being with like white nationalist views. If it all came down to it, I don't think he'd ever participate in like a race war or anything. He's probably too big of a pussy, but he likes talking about that stuff because it gives him attention. That's my take on it. I don't know that much about him.
Totally off topic, but have you guys ever seen a flanged male orangutan? Like, you know, the orangutans with the big heads with the
Yeah, I have.
that are round.
Yeah.
Alex Jones is looking exactly like that nowadays.
His head is getting wider. Yeah.
When I was looking at those clips, I was just like, this dude is a flanged male orangutan.
His head's getting
You
wider.
get the round head, like
Like
this,
Barry Bonds. Like Alex Jones's head is giving Barry Bonds right now.
or like Planet of the Apes, just the orangutan.
No, I was gonna say, like, steroid use makes your head. You're the expert, right, Billy?
Yeah, I mean, there is growth.
Is that HGH that does it?
HGH usually does a little more.
So do you think
facial growth?
you think Alex Jones might be on HGH?
I think he's always had a big head. I think it's just alcoholism giving him like really like Winston Churchill jowls type alcoholism.
Well, at any rate, it was interesting to see Alex Jones be like the peacemaker on his own show. No, Connie, it's he doesn't you don't believe that. He doesn't mean that Hitler's good.
I believe.
No, I like Hitler. He was good.
There's a Jewish mafia, but there's an Italian mafia.
Yeah, that's right. He was like even trying to go halfway.
He was like, I believe there's a Jewish mafia, but I don't know what you're talking about with the rest.
Yeah, it's just incredible. Like, and I mean that in the real sense of the word incredible. Like, I couldn't believe that it was happening. Like every thread that was added to that with the latest clip, it was just getting worse and worse and worse.
It was like fake. He was like, yeah, Hugo Boss, they make great jackets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, not good.
Sneaky New Jersey state troopers.
Hold on before we deviate. There's one thing I've always wanted to talk about. Have you ever seen that thread? Oh, it was a law. This was when Kanye first started this stuff, and he just put on the MAGA hat. Have you ever seen the thread, or have I talked about? I don't know if I have, about how he is doing a performance art.
Yes.
In front of it. I talked about that.
I don't know if we talked about that on this show. We might have, where it was like based on a French like performance artist, right?
It went into like super fucking detail, and like everything like super lined up. Where he brought in Andy Kaufman, and there was an old book. I don't know. Should I go into detail on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find it.
So
okay,
everything he's doing is an act.
Yeah, performance art. But I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just saying
Honestly,
the thread was mad interesting. Hold on, let me find that thread real quick. Hold on.
If he was doing that, like if he's looking for the most attention possible, craziest stuff, there could be nothing else he could do differently to do better. You know what I'm saying? Like in the scope of performance art, like he is doing a perfect concoction.
If he's doing performance art, I don't understand what the point is.
What's the point of creating any art?
Maybe because they make you think about certain concepts
I heard
that you
this. I'm gonna send a thread so you guys can follow along, and I'm just gonna read it. Listen, I am not advocating that this is what it is. I'm just saying when I first read it, and this was pre all of this Nazi bullshit. This was just the MAGA hat and like how he was like saying he loved Trump and stuff, which a lot of the theory it makes sense. All right, so this is a dude named Snowcone who I think he got it from Reddit. And so anyway, okay, so it goes, get your tinfoil hats and red string. I've got a conspiracy theory. Kanye West is in the middle of a performance art piece and the clues are right there in front of us. He said, first we need to establish who this guy on Twitter named Denim Tears is. And side note, him and to my understanding, Kanye and Denim Tears have since split because Denim Tears don't really, I don't know the details, but I don't think they really rock with each other anymore. He said, so we got to establish who Denim Tears is. Forgive me if this is well-known info. I'm not great at keeping up with everyday celebrity. His name is Tremaine Emery. He's a collaborator and friend of Kanye. Last night, Kanye tweeted this picture. It appears to be Tremaine at a table. We also know from a previous tweet from Tremaine that he's in Calabasas, where Kanye lives. And if you look at the pictures, it's him and Tremaine is in there. Kanye also mentioned in his interview with Charlemagne, my boy Tremaine tweeted, so we can assume that he's both friends with Tremaine and looks at his, and I looked at his Twitter account. I promise his info will be important coming up. He said, okay, a week or so after rejoining Twitter, Kanye tweeted these images on 4/22. The first two images involve David Hammonds, and the third and fourth involve Joseph Baez. And if you look at the old Kanye tweets, which he screenshotted, it is what it is. He said, so let's start with the first two images involving David Hammonds. After Kanye tweeted those images, Tremaine quote tweeted him with the spades emoji. He said, I believe this is referring to Hammond's work, which is aimed to turn racist cliches, a spade, on its head. He said, as far as the other two images, Joseph Baez, the image Kanye tweeted was from an art installation Baez did, and excuse me if I'm mispronouncing it, Baez did in 1974 called I Like America and America Likes Me, where he locked himself into a room with a coyote for 3 days. The purpose of this performance with the coyote, a wild spirit often thought of as America's untamed spirit, was to hopefully make the coyote tolerant and accepting through Baez's desire to heal. So I believe Kanye is doing a modern take on Baez's piece with the coyote. He's embraced what might be considered that coyote of today, gotten close to it. Trump, Candace Owens, and the alt-right. He said maybe he sees this as a better chance to tame the coyote more than the traditional methods. But would Kanye get called out for doing something that's already been done for taking someone else's ideas? He said maybe not. He explained it himself first. And then Kanye's tweets, he says, too much emphasis is put on originality. Feel free to take ideas and update them at your will. All great artists take and update. This is still Kanye. He said, let's be less concerned with ownership of ideas. It's important that the ideas see the light of day, even if you don't get the credit for them. Let's be less concerned with credit awards and external validation. It's not where you take things from, it's where you take them to, which is a very valid point in my opinion. There's a great book. I forget the name of it, for the name of who wrote it, but it's called Steal Like an Artist. It's a great book. I recommend. He goes on in the thread. He goes, to me, there are two clues that are most important. The first one is a tweet from Kanye. This picture posted 6 days after the others, again, shows Baez Hammonds and now introduces what appears to be a drawing of Andy Kaufman. And this is Kanye West tweeting now. He says mood board, and it's a picture of those two books and Andy. He wrote Andy with the eyebrows, which Andy Kaufman was synonymous for. And he goes on, anyone that's even a little familiar with Andy Kaufman knows that he was a performance artist who would put himself in uncomfortable situations in a wide view of the public eye and rarely, if ever, break character. Check out Man on the Moon and Jim and Andy on Netflix. He said, so why is this important? It shows that Baez and Hammonds are still on Kanye's mind. Kanye refers to it as his mood board. Maybe most importantly, he had to purposefully add Andy Kaufman into the picture, but in a somewhat subtle way. Maybe having a picture or a book on Andy would be too obvious, and rough drawing with only his first name is obviously more subtle. So in this picture, you have a performance artist who tamed a wild creature by showing it love and compassion. An artist who took a racist symbol, the spade, and flipped it to give it new meaning, and a performance artist who wrestled women and generally acted insane in the public eye and rarely broke character. The other most important clue of all this was Tremaine's response to this Kanye tweet. Tremaine quote tweeted this with the caption of quote unquote the prestige, with an emoji of the spade, a guy juggling a cowboy hat, and two wrestlers. This is an amazing breakdown. He goes on to say, maybe I'm reaching here, but I think the spade represents the MAGA hat, a symbol of perceived racism. Juggling could represent Kanye pulling a trick or maybe some juggling a lot of things. The cowboy hat represents taming the coyote, and the wrestling represents Andy Kaufman. He said, going with the theory that juggling represents pulling a trick, that could give some context to the Prestige, possibly a direct reference to the movie in which the Prestige is the final act of the magic trick. Okay, I'll read that. And this is a quote from Christopher Priest, The Prestige. I know this is long-winded, but it's hella interesting. And it goes, every great magic trick consists of 3 parts or acts. The first part is called the pledge. The magician shows you something ordinary, a deck of cards, a bird, or a man. He shows you this object. Perhaps he asks you to inspect it to see if it's real, unaltered, or normal. But of course, it probably isn't. The second act is called the turn. The magician takes the ordinary something and makes it do something extraordinary. Now you're looking for the secret, but you won't find it because, of course, you're not really looking. You don't really want to know. You want to be fooled, but you wouldn't clap yet because making something disappear isn't enough. You have to bring it back. That's why every magic trick has a third act. The hardest part we all call the Prestige. I said another quick note on the Prestige. This is something Tremaine has tweeted a few times. He tweeted in 45 minutes after the infamous picture of Kanye in the MAGA hat. In the movie, he said, I don't know if it's true or not. The Prestige is the reveal to the illusion. You take an ordinary thing, Kanye's usual stance, make it something extraordinary, supporting Trump, and then the Prestige turns it back into something ordinary. Is the album his Prestige? He said, also, Kanye is no stranger to taking perceived racist symbol and attempting to flip it like Hammond's. In 2013, he sported a Confederate flag and commented on its meaning. And this is a direct quote. He said, react how you want. Any energy is good energy. And this is in 2013. The Confederate flag represented slavery in a way. That's my abstract take on what I know about it, right? So I wrote a song called New Slave. So I took the Confederate flag and made it my flag. It's my flag now. He said, the quote on the MAGA hat, he says, I feel when people think of MAGA, they don't think of empathy. This is year one. We can't add empathy to MAGA by hating. We can only add empathy with love and time and truly hearing all sides. So my theory is this: Kanye, most likely with the help of Tremaine and or others, is in the middle of some performance art piece, which what is the overall good of it? I don't know. Maybe holding a mirror to the world and forcing us to talk about some things. Maybe the album will explain. He said, I could be completely wrong looking at way too much into this, but I don't think I am. Is it such a stretch to think one of the greatest artists of our time, in his opinion and mine, who has had a hand in music, shoes, real estate, fashion, would try his hand in performance art? And he references the claim. There's a few other things, but that's a wild ride to get taken on.
Yeah, looking at it and seeing that what's there, that he was reading this literature and sort of did like have actual connection with this artist. Did he? But by that sort of idea, like I can see him trying to flip stuff, but it's kind of gone way too far.
I 100% agree. I think this is why Tremaine and him actually parted ways. And so like the cognitive dissonance that I have with some of the things that he says is like, okay, he's like a huge proponent of Christianity and Jesus, right? Which I love a lot of what Jesus' messaging was, right? As an atheist, like I it's just what it is. Like you look for good things in all works, and I think that's what unless I'm not Kanye explaining right now, but I think that's what his attempt is trying to do. And he's saying there's good in all things, but I'm like, this is just indefensible. Like you said, I think he's taking it too far. And if this is performance art, there's no prestige. There's no coming back from this, dog. Like you can't, like this one, like you're referencing one of the most atrocious acts in human history, and you're saying the dude responsible, one of the main catalysts for it, I like that guy. It's just indefensible, man. It's just but it was just a wild ride to go on to see, like, if this is something, I wouldn't put it past him, because like that would be kind of a cool thing. Like you're doing live performance art, like with all of this depth in it, but to what? Like you're risking too much. Like people are actually getting moved by this. It's wild.
Unless he thinks that he's being so ridiculous that it should discount everything he's doing. Because like he did pull out a net. Like he has been being like pretty ridiculous in his delivery.
Yeah.
Being racist as fuck.
Yeah.
His or not maybe his explanation, but Kanye Defender's explanation is kind of similar to what Arian was just saying, which is like if you were to ask Jesus, do you love Hitler? According to many scriptures in the Bible, Jesus loves everybody, right? And so it's not about your earthly deeds or things that you've done necessarily, that there's love inside him for everybody. I think that's what they're saying that Kanye was doing, but he wasn't just saying that in like a Christ-like way. He was also talking about his actions.
Yeah.
Which is a completely, I don't think Jesus would be like, you know what, I love that he invented the microphone, so I'm going to get co-sign him for that one. Because, well, first of all,
it's irresponsible, because I think what bothers me the most about it is he never condemns it. Like remember early in our episodes we was talking about like, yo, Charles Manson, I really fuck with a song that he did, right? It's a really good song. I was like, but that has nothing to do with his atrocities. And I absolutely will never defend that man's actions, but he did create something that I enjoyed. Like there's cognitive dissonance there, but he never condemns it. That's the issue. I think humans, the one thing that he did say that I do agree with, like the classifications, especially with emotions as humans, we love to try to compartmentalize a lot of that stuff, but it's in and out, Inside Out has one of the greatest hallmark moments in cinema to me, when happiness finally realizes that happiness is only happiness because it has sadness to contrast it with. Like that was a really powerful moment. It was a really dope moment, but that's emotions. Emotions are complicated. So it's okay to admit how you're feeling, but it's also, you need the contrast. Like you can't just say Hitler did good shit and leave it at that, dog. Like you just can't. Like it's not honest. You're not being intellectually honest, and you're being provocative at the sake of like people's who have suffered generations and generations from atrocities committed by that man. So it's just like, it's very irresponsible. But he also said he's never read a book, so that's kind of what you get.
He's read a lot of posts though. He's read a lot of YouTube thumbnails.
Mad tweets, yo.
A lot of tweets. Yeah, it's been wild. I don't know what his next step is. I just know that he has been now officially dropped by Milo, whatever his last name is. Yeah, Nanopoulos. I don't know how to say his last name.
Wait, Kanye?
That's bad, because he was a fucking racist too.
Yeah, they broke up.
There was like
Milo's,
a funny video of them. Did you
Milo's
see them
no
eating?
longer involved with his campaign. He said the decision was mutual though.
Yeah, did you see them eating hibachi together?
Yeah.
Hilarious video. They're just like in this random hibachi restaurant. Neither of them belong with each other, and they're just.
That's what I'm saying. It's the most random mashup of characters I've ever seen, dog. It's like Kanye, like, yo, you have some of the most powerful, influential people at the touch of your fingertips.
Yeah.
And you're with Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos eating fucking sushi, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know what Kanye does next. He might have to just like go away for a while, check himself into some sort of facility, come back up being like, hey, I'm going on an apology tour. You know what? What if Kanye just like goes away for a year, undergoes intense psychotherapy, and then comes out and makes an apology album only for Jewish people, but it's like his best album ever.
It's so hard because his music's so good, and I'm Jewish, so like, you know, there's obviously a disconnect in his brain, but his music is so good. Like I'm not gonna listen to it. I enjoy his music, but like we always say it all the time. Like, have to separate the art from the artist sometimes. It's crazy. We've
got the Qatar wrap-up video that's coming out on the first one's coming out on Wednesday, me and Donnie put out the first preview for it on Friday, and it was a Kanye West song. I was like, Donnie, come on, man.
Read the room, Donnie.
Read the room, Donnie. And Donnie's like, well, I already edited this before the Kanye West Hitler rant. Maybe the worst day ever to put out a video with a Kanye West soundtrack to it.
I mean, the craziest thing is Antonio Brown is in a standoff with police still while this is all going on.
He has a warrant. He has a warrant out.
And he was like in a standoff with the police while some of this was happening, but like Kanye was going off so much that we didn't even care.
But AB is trying to build with Kanye now. They're trying to link up.
Right now?
I think so.
Is he still in a standoff?
I don't know what AB's up to. AB, I hope he's all right, but I don't think that he is.
No. My last thing for today is, how's everybody's Christmas apps going?
Actually decent.
I've gotten a lot of DMs about like people wanting to know updates. So.
I had a setback. A very mild setback.
Yeah.
But Christmas abs are. Well, I'm still going. I'd say my Christmas abs are loading. I'm going to go hit the gym after this. I've got an entire weekend's worth of bad food and beer to sweat out of my system. And then yesterday I ate a lot, but that was mostly just because I was I needed comfort. So I was eating out of comfort yesterday on Sunday. And I was still technically in my brain on vacation. So starting now, Christmas abs back on.
Okay. Billy?
Yeah, me
Me
too.
I got sick and it made me drop an insane amount of weight. So now I'm like, just got to get a pump and then Christmas abs will be dope.
Rest of you guys?
I've had a setback.
Have you?
Yeah.
What happened?
I mean, I had pizza for dinner last night. Like, I've been having fun in my normal life.
Yeah.
And that in turn turns into not as fun in other ways. But I have a Pilates. I'm working out after this. I have Pilates later. So I'm getting back on the horse. It's Monday. We're getting back on the horse. But speaking of, I will say the Kanye shit. I was at a bar this weekend and Gold Digger came on and people were, this is the craziest thing. People were yelling, be like, skip the song. And they skipped it. And then they were like, skip it. Then American Boy came on, notable Kanye verse in that song. They skipped that over too.
Wow.
It was like the craziest shit. But yeah, no, I'm back on the horse. Yeah.
Abs
Stuff.
loading.
Yeah. I like the idea of the Super Bowl abs. The Super Bowl abs might.
Yeah, Super Bowl abs, that seems more attainable for me right now.
It's a little bit more reasonable, yeah.
Life is a journey, not the destination.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, the fact that we're even having this conversation before New Year's is good.
Yeah.
We're ahead of the game.
Yep.
We get to
Facts.
get to the gym in New Year's and get mad at all the new people there.
Yeah. We're gonna jump. We're gonna jump on New Year's resolutions.
Big T, you have any New Year's resolutions?
I'm just glad we're saying Christmas again. Let's get through Christmas before we worry about New Year's.
Okay. I've got a New Year's resolution for anybody out there that's looking for one. This is my life hack. I do this almost every year. I'm gonna start drinking more water.
I agree.
Yeah. You can just say that, like, I need to really drink more water, and it's very attainable. Just get yourself a giant water bottle and then just carry that around and be like, yeah, I feel better. My skin's better. I've got more energy. You can say all these things that nobody will ever check you on or actually measure, and then you get to act like you've done something.
Speaking of Christmas, buy our ugly sweater. Billy's wearing it right now. It's really
Check it
nice.
out.
If you get yours, please send you wearing it on Christmas. We'll post it.
Yep.
Pretty awesome.
Do we have any voicemails or anything we want to get to?
No.
Nothing right now. Tell you what, call in, leave voicemails for Wednesday's show, or coming out on Thursday. What's the number again?
Sorry. 347-560-0401.
That was off the head top, Maddie. You got that memorized?
Yeah, I have it memorized as if it's my own phone number at this point.
That was pretty good.
What
Now, we haven't talked about what we want to do. I have a suggestion. I know you watched this. I'm in the middle of watching it. The Casey Anthony thing on Peacock. I'm intrigued by this.
Okay.
The case.
We can get into it.
Should we do Casey Anthony?
Can we reach out to her?
Yeah, I think we could get her.
Do you think that's a good idea?
No, but we should, yeah.
We could make fun of her.
I watched it. It's
I've never seen it. Didn't she kill her baby or something?
it's interesting.
Yeah, and she got away with it.
Allegedly. But that would not be a bad idea. We could even try to get maybe KB on. KB's really into Casey Anthony.
So
Or
it's fights.
KB in a wig.
KB in fights?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
He can pretend to be Casey Anthony.
Oh, okay. Well, I know he's really into Casey. I could talk to KB in fights and see if they'd be interested in coming on. Arian, what do you think? Would you want to do a little discussion about Casey?
Oh, I'm all for it.
Oh,
I don't know shit about it, so.
All right,
Yep.
so she's got a show on it's on Peacock.
Yep.
It's 3 parts, so it's only like a 3-hour investment about her case. I would also recommend watching something that's not this exact documentary about her case, because you might get different perspective on it. But we can also talk about what she's doing with this one.
Yep. I'm going to watch that tonight.
Beautiful. All right. Good suggestion,
Sweet.
BT.
That was
Good job.
that was my first like national case that I turned into. Like that I was old enough to comprehend.
Tot mom, Casey Anthony.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Nancy Grace called her? The tot mom?
Probably. I feel like Nancy Grace has called 8 people that.
Yes, yeah, that's her big thing. What's she up to these days?
Casey Anthony or
No,
Nancy
Top
Grace?
Mom.
I haven't seen Nancy Grace in a long time. Maybe we just haven't had a good enough national case in a while.
I feel like she would have
Oh,
tuned in
this-
for Johnny Depp and
No, I
Amber
think
Heard.
she's doing Iowa.
Oh,
Or
Idaho.
Idaho.
Oh,
That is fucked.
that's so sad.
That is a very scary situation.
Can we reach out to Casey Anthony and Nancy Grace?
I'll talk to
Nancy
our
Grace
people.
would be lit.
She would be.
Casey Anthony looks a lot like KB.
All right. Tune in on Thursday for Casey Anthony with KB, who might be Casey Anthony.
We should put a wig on KB and see how.
All right. Love you guys. That's the end of today's nanodosing, but we do have an interview. We're going to try out this new format on nanodoses. We're going to do short shows, just shooting the shit in preparation for a Wednesday, Thursday show. And then we're going to just tack on an interview to it. This week, we're sitting down with Dakota Layden, Chelsea Layden, Tanner Wiseman, and Alex Schroeder from the new show, the new season of Destination Fear on Travel Channel. And it's streaming on Discovery Plus. They are brought to you by our great friends over at HelloFresh. HelloFresh is the best home meal prep service. It's the most festive time of the year. HelloFresh is here to help make the most out of every moment, from holiday hosting to dinners during busy weeknights. You can count on HelloFresh to deliver fresh ingredients and seasonal recipes. HelloFresh can help you eat better amid all the holiday temptations. Their meals have 20% fewer calories than takeout, so you can have full flavor just without the guilt. With over 35 recipes available to choose from each week, there's something to please everyone. Choose family-friendly, fit, and wholesome, or even veggie. Plus, you can easily customize your meals by swapping proteins or sides, upgrade those proteins, or even add a protein to a veggie meal. Traveling over the holidays? Well, HelloFresh has plans that work with your schedule. Change your preferences, delivery days, and address in just a few clicks. We love HelloFresh. HelloFresh is the official home delivery meal service of Christmas abs and Super Bowl abs. I'm saying it right now. Best way to get your Super Bowl abs? By using HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com/dose18. Use code dose18. You get 18 free meals plus free shipping. That's DOSE18 at HelloFresh.com/dose18. HelloFresh. All right, we now welcome on a very special group of guests. They're from a show called Destination Fear on Travel Channel. You watch it Fridays at 9 p.m., and it's going to be streaming on Discovery Plus right after. So we welcome on Dakota Layden, Chelsea Layden, Tanner Wiseman, and Alex Schroeder, the full cast. First of all, kind of a weird coincidence here. Our producer, Chelsea, I guess, is familiar with your work at Quinnipiac because Avery, you played hockey there, Avery? Or
No, I just worked there.
he just worked
Worked
there.
for the hockey
Worked
team.
for the hockey team.
Oh, that's so
shout out
awesome.
Chelsea.
Thank you. That is so cool.
Yeah, so
Go Bobcats.
I'm interested to hear about the show because the premise sounds fascinating. I guess you guys just like to get scared, you like to get spooked, and you hang out in really scary places and just wait to be like frightened out of your pants.
Pretty much.
So how did you guys discover, like, how'd you guys get together and decide to do a show like this?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, we all grew up next to each other in the same neighborhood, and our families were all friends. So we all grew up together, and one of our hobbies in middle school and high school was going to like abandoned buildings and going in for 30, 40 minutes and getting scared out and then talking about it for the next 2 weeks. It was just a total hobby of ours. And eventually, once we were done with high school, we decided to do this documentary that a couple years later turned into this show.
Okay, what was the scariest place that you guys went when you were, like, before you guys turned pro, when you were just doing it for the love of the game?
For the love of the game. I mean, like everywhere. I mean, we went to any place we could go in Minnesota. We could go anywhere we wanted to in Iowa, Wisconsin, the North Dakotas. But What was that one sanatorium we broke or got unofficially invited to?
Was it Pokegama
Yeah,
Sanatorium?
Northern Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like 4 hours driving all the way up to Pokegama. And then I think we lasted maybe like 2 hours just like wandering around.
Yeah, the sanitariums just sound like terrifying places. For the listeners out there who might not be familiar with sanitariums, could you guys describe what they are? Because I think you went back to one in this season as well, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, sanatoriums are basically they were constructed in the late 50s, 60s for tuberculosis, and which is kind of eerily similar to what we experienced with COVID. But they had tens of thousands of people sick in these places. Whoa. And that's why when we go there, they just seem to be the most kind of creepy and active because so many people passed away.
Yeah.
Been to sanatoriums and sanitariums, and there's a big difference between the two that we had to make sure that we said the right word when we were filming because they're so close, but they mean very different things.
Yeah, like sanitarium is more of an asylum for like mentally ill and that type of issue, but sanatorium is more the tuberculosis.
Does that affect like the spirits you encounter in each one just a little bit different? Is just like the sick tuberculosis patients who died spirits a little different than the mentally ill spirits?
I would say sanitariums are just like you go in there with this I don't know, this bias that things are just going to be a lot more wild. You know, TB is like, and they're totally two different things. So I would say yes, but I feel like I pre-plant that in my mind before I even go there sometimes.
When you're going into these places, what do you bring with you supplies-wise? I mean, I guess you're dealing with a totally different set of what you might encounter, if you might encounter. So what are you going in there with? Is there any sort of tools of the trade that we don't know about that you guys bring to these scenarios?
Well, we used to love having flashlights because it's so dark in there. It's nice to be able to see where you're going. But this season, we got rid of all of our flashlights. So anytime we're doing a solo or we're by ourselves, we have to wander these massive buildings in the complete pitch darkness, only relying on our cameras with our IR lights.
And when we first started doing this, we didn't have any equipment. Like we would just go into these kind of buildings with our cameras and flashlights, and that's all we had. And I think there's definitely like some real, like you can relate to that because anyone can do that, right? You don't need the fancy equipment to experience something scary, but I do think equipment helps enhance the experiences for sure.
Now, from my experience, exploring abandoned buildings and structures, which
is considerable.
I'm not professional like you guys, but I did some amateur explorations. But I used to tend to sometimes encounter like squatters of some sorts or people living in the structures. Is that a big issue for you guys when you're going into these places that probably regulars haven't investigated in such a long time and sort of running on someone's settlement of sorts?
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
How's dealing with those hermits? I think the best way to describe them.
Yeah, any hermit mitigation strategies you guys might employ?
Taylor, you're kind of our go-to for this.
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, the concept of the show, if no one knows, is we get in an RV, we drive up to the station, and they let us loose, and they put us in this building, and we're there until the sun goes down, till the sun goes up. And that's actually what happens. We don't have a producer. Hoda's our executive producer, so we have a producer on site. So we are just in there completely by ourselves. So we went to this one place called Oddfellows, and we saw someone walking around the outside of the buildings. Or Chelsea saw it, and we all freaked out. We just kind of yelled, "Hey, get out of here, get out of here." And then as time goes by, we're exploring this building, asking questions, getting creeped out. At the end of our show, what we do is we draw out of a hat and we separate and we sleep alone for the rest of the entire night. And this time, this was Alex's location. We didn't have a single flashlight. We're in there in the complete dark. And so all of a sudden I'm in my spot in the hospital and I'm looking at this window It's a full moon, so like it's my only light source. So I'm just kind of staring at it this time, and then all of a sudden it goes black from right to left, and then there's the window again, and I'm just like, okay, so what was that? And then all of a sudden it goes black from left to right, and there's footsteps that you're hearing, and I'm like, okay, those footsteps sound a little bit too prominent. That doesn't sound like, you can hear the gravel crunching underneath boots. And I'm just like, I don't think this is some weird paranormal thing. I actually think that someone is in the building with us. And then again, the window goes black, and I just stand up and I just start yelling like, hey, get out of here, get out of here. Like, not supposed to be here, blah, blah, blah. Just cussing up a storm. And then all of a sudden I hear just sprinting and running. And then a door open and running down the stairs. And that's when I'm just like, oh, I don't know if he's running towards me, running away from me. I call the guys and we grab all of our cameras. And from where he was running towards, there is a stairway that leads to the back entrance, the back doors. And long story short, we then went to one of these conventions where we meet up with some fans. And apparently one of them knew the person who broke in that night.
Whoa.
And can I just say, it's totally normal for people to go explore haunted buildings. That's what we did growing up. We grabbed our friends, we went and explored these crazy buildings and got scared out. But this was one person dressed in black. Like, this wasn't like, let's grab your friends and go to this place. That's like someone like came to that location with some intention, and it was by far the scariest night ever.
Yeah. Have you guys ever thought about maybe bringing a dog with you? I've heard that dogs get alerted to like paranormal things, or they can like sense if something's uncomfortable or danger. If you just had a dog that was there to alert you, that might be a good addition to the crew.
That's a great idea. Dakota, get us a dog.
Maybe a
Let's get
Great Dane.
People love dogs too. Like, dogs play on TV.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, get
That's what I'm
Scooby Doo.
saying. Well, they do. Well,
You guys become the mystery machine?
Yeah. What I was about to say, you guys do the Scooby Doo split up thing, which everyone's like, don't split up. Why are you guys going Daphne and Velma and Ken? Who's the last one?
Yeah, you guys aren't. You're not supposed to split up in those situations, right? Like, I've seen enough horror movies. You go like everywhere together.
I agree with everything you're saying.
I wish you would go on, like, don't split up.
Is there something that you guys have encountered on the show that you still cannot explain to this day?
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Lot
I
of
think. Yeah, I mean, I think we all can agree that there's a location called Sweet Springs Sanatorium that we got scared out of. It's the only location we actually left early. And we were hearing so many voices and noises next to us, not like far away. It was as if someone was standing right in front of us. And we all heard it. We all got affected by it. And I mean, Tanner got to the point where me and you went in one last time to just look for like radios and things, like stereo set. We thought someone was messing with us. We didn't find anything. And it's definitely one of those nights I think none of us will ever forget.
Totally. I mean, these buildings for like 12 hours. So there's a lot of times where either nothing happens or some like weird thing will happen, but you can go like, all right, that might be wind displacement. You know, the door might have closed because that window is completely like shot out or broken or whatnot. And so, you know, you kind of like debunk it a little bit, but there's been so many times where weird things happen where you just go like, I have no idea how to explain it. And then when you get the weird ones are when you hear like a very loud voice, and that's like, okay, we definitely know we are the only ones on this property, in this building, in this small room in the back or in the basement. And you get a voice and you just go, okay, like that's getting close to the tipping point.
I think it's scariest when we hear like a female voice, because I'm the only girl. So like, if it's not me, who the heck is it?
Yeah. Arian, I know that you've got some questions. My guess is Arian is a skeptic about most of these things.
I love that.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm definitely a skeptic, man. Not a believer in the paranormal. I'm more of a I don't know. I like to see it to believe it. Not even that. I I believe in like the repeatability of excuse my daughter, she's in the back of me. But I like the repeatability of claims. I guess I don't have any questions on that front. But I guess when you guys are like scouting locations, like what is the metric you're looking for a building or a place to go, and like what are you guys looking for?
Yeah, I think, we each pick throughout the season, we each kind of have a couple locations that are ours, and we don't tell the others where we're going until we get there. But honestly, like the biggest thing for us is size, just because we do ultimately separate every night and sleep alone. So we want it to be somewhat, massive, so we're far away. And then just the history is important. There's got to be some sort of tragedy or some sort of a reason to go, okay, I could see why this would be haunted. That's why we honestly end up at a lot of prisons, sanatoriums, asylums, and hospitals.
And usually Dakota's the one that picks most of the locations, but in a season, we all each get to pick one, usually one at least. And I think that we are more careful what we pick because we only get to pick one. So I usually go for like a really scary story. It might not necessarily be the biggest, most notable location, but I'm really about like the history and like the spooky story in the with that relates to the building. How about you, Tanner?
For me, like I like finding a place. So like when we did our documentary, afterwards we were going to try to pitch it for a show, and Dakota and Alex came up with this massive like 150 location list. And like for me personally, I like trying to find a location that's never been on TV before and also has it's not on our list. So it like comes out of right field. But again, like what everyone's been saying, like we like finding places that are so massive that it's like almost impossible to hear each other. That's why we bring walkies into these overnights. Like our biggest location we've ever been into was 1 million square feet.
That's huge.
I feel like you guys also like go north during the winter.
Yeah,
you guys you're going to say. Oh, sorry.
Everybody. No, I was going to follow up. I was going to follow up with this question. I guess I do have a question now. Now I was thinking about it a little bit. So what would be the reasoning, in your guys' opinion, for like, let's say there's a homicide or there's some like, bad stuff that went on at an asylum or a prison or whatever it is. What would be the reasoning that that entity would stay there in your guys? Like, why would that ghost, soul, whatever you coined the phrase, like, why would it stay there? Why wouldn't it go somewhere else? If there is somewhere else, like, I don't know. I'm curious on the take.
Well, like, we always, like, we're all religious. So, like, we all believe that, someone is going to go to heaven, someone's going to go to hell. But a lot of us, we believe that it's like the energy of that horrible accident or horrible incident will stay there and affect you. I mean, there's a lot of times like that, like, for example, like when we were kids and you turn off the light in the basement and you feel like you need to sprint up the stairs as fast as you can. There's so many times where you walk into a building or walk into a room that has some type of weird claim that we don't even know of, that you feel that type of like weirdness and awkwardness. And so that's kind of what we believe is like there's something like that happening.
And at the end of the day, we don't know, right? Like it's just one of those things where our show is a little different than most because we're not professionals at this. I know people are like, you guys are well versed in this now, but it's like we're still the same dang fear chasing explorers. But at the end of the day, we don't know. And I think that not knowing is what freaks us out.
So what is it, do you think, about you guys that makes people like to watch you all get scared?
I love watching them get scared, but I don't know. I think it's
for everyone. Yeah, like everyone gets scared at some point in their life. And it is funny, like Chelsea's notorious for jumping out at us and scaring us, hiding behind a closet door and doing that. So it's like, it's entertaining, I think, to see people get scared.
Yeah, you guys are very, very good at being scared. That's like an elite skill set that I don't think many people have.
Professional scaredy cats.
Yeah. And speaking of what you brought up earlier, I do think that like if you're cold, it's way easier to be spooky if it's cold, right? Like nobody's ever scared in like really comfortable weather. It's tough to be scared in shorts.
Yeah, true.
You'd be like bundled up big time.
been to some cold locations. I think the craziest one we did in the cold was Nopeming Sanatorium.
Yeah,
we went to like northern Minnesota in the dead of winter, and I was this close to quitting. My nose almost fell out.
Inside the building than it was outside because a pipe burst in the summer or right before it started to freeze over. So the walls were just completely iced out. Like it was just horrible. So anytime we wanted to like warm up or take a break, we'd actually step outside in the Minnesota winter.
Jesus.
And the porta potty was like 1,000 feet away, and I felt like I was walking through a tundra every time.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Speaking of northern Minnesota, have you guys ever considered the Glen Sheen Mansion for
Dude,
Yes.
it's awesome.
Me and Alex actually, me and Alex used to do some production work, and we worked on a movie in the Glen Sheen Mansion for a couple weeks. So I would love to go back.
There was a
That'd be
murder
awesome.
there, I think,
Yep.
with like a very interesting story for real crime fans. I forget the specifics, but I definitely think that place might be worth getting scared in.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Big enough.
What about the? Have you guys done any work at the Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee? Are you familiar with it?
No.
So
No, I've actually
I
never
haven't
heard of that one.
it's an old, really creepy hotel in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it's notorious because a lot of baseball teams stay there when they're going to play against the Brewers, and a bunch of players in Major League Baseball will no longer stay in this hotel because they've seen ghosts. Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 guys that have it put into their contract that when they're in Milwaukee, they're not staying at the Pfister Hotel. So it's like commonly known around the league as being a haunted place. I spent a night there a few years ago, and we had people come by with the electromagnetic, whatever kind of like ghost hunting equipment that you guys want to call it. They said that they heard ghosts in there. I don't know. What do you guys think about the industry of like ghost detection technology?
Yeah, I mean, when we got started the show, we hadn't used gear up until this point. So what we did was we kind of watched a few of the shows and took a few pieces of equipment from each one. And like, there's definitely a few of the devices that you cannot say is scientific fact, but it is very interesting sometimes with what you get. But there are some devices like that pick up electromagnetic energy, which is something we give off a lot of, and something a lot of like devices give off too. And whenever those types of equipment, whenever like the actual devices that pick up electromagnetic energy go off, that is always a little weird because like, if you set it on the floor for 10 minutes and it doesn't go off and out of nowhere it starts to kind of beep and go off, that doesn't make sense at all. And so I don't know. I think we all personally go into it a little skeptical with each piece of equipment.
Yeah.
There's stuff we like a little more than others, but it's hard to tell.
I'm a big fan of junk science in general. So when somebody's like, this machine finds ghosts, I'm like, you have my attention. Show me how it works. So like going around the room with you guys, who believes in ghosts? Like definitively, do you believe or not believe in the existence of, I guess, spiritual beings that are left over from when people are alive?
I would say I do, just based on what we experienced. And I'm very left brain. I challenge everything, I question everything, but there's just some things that I simply can't explain. So I would say that puts me in the category of I believe in ghosts.
Yeah, I'm same boat as Chelsea. Like I definitely, with all the stuff that's happened, it's really hard to say that we don't. I personally believe more in like evil and demons, stuff like that. I believe that stuff walks around with us all the time. So like when there are some messed up stuff or any of us, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but like I definitely believe in like the demons and all that stuff with them.
Do you believe in that some areas are like portals to different dimensions in the universe, and there's beings that like travel between the two?
Good question, Billy.
Thank you.
Honestly, like we are so not professionals at this. Like that's something I can definitely say I have no idea. Like we've heard about it. We've gone to locations and people have told us like that room's a portal. Never seen it firsthand, to be honest. I could say probably. I don't know if we believe in that, but
sounds pretty cool though.
Sounds pretty cool though.
Like the sanatoriums with the amount of death that happens there, just like happens to like rip a rip a hole in the
Yeah, no, I mean,
space-time,
it sounds
and
it
then
sounds like something I'd very
beings,
much
yeah.
like to believe in. I didn't even know it existed until like 30 seconds ago, but
Yeah.
now I'm all in. I want to go find one of these places.
A lot of cryptids might like travel through there too. Just something to think about.
Yeah, so what do you guys have planned for next season? I know that you're continuing on with this show. It's been a success. So like, are there any bucket list places that you guys want to go to?
Yeah. I mean, we don't know. We don't necessarily know yet if we're going to be doing another season. We're hoping for the best. But I know I'll say this one. We want to go to Europe really bad because we got a taste of it. We went to Ireland last season. Wow. And I just think just from going to Ireland, there's so much more history. It was just so much creepier. And I think we all want to do a full-on international or European trip.
Those ghosts are way older.
They are
way older.
Like these American ghosts, what, 1800s, 1700s earliest?
Yeah, they're barely even
like
adults.
they got like 1200s, like 3-digit year ghosts over there.
Old school. You should
and
go
there's
to
freaking castles.
Yeah.
Castles
The
there.
buildings are old.
You should go to Scotland and go to go up to Edinburgh and see the catacombs and the underground city they have there.
Yes.
If you think that Paris is creepy in the catacombs with like all the skulls and bones there, the ones in Scotland are 10 times scarier, I think, than the ones in Paris.
Okay.
Get some good ghosts up there.
that would be a cool place to go check out.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
I really want to go to Brahms Castle in Romania, Dracula's castle.
Oh yeah, Vlad the Impaler.
So much fun. I mean, an actual dungeon, a horrible like person that lived in that place, just being a tyrant, and I don't know. That would just be like the coolest thing of all time. I think.
Doesn't even sound real.
What was that, Billy?
Well, didn't he have like salt mines that he used to like put people in there?
Yeah, he would do that, and also he would to like warn off all the people that are coming after him. He would chop their heads off, or actually fully impale them, and just put it out the castle to scare like all the people that are coming after him.
Vlad.
Maybe we don't go to that one.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Oh, come on, it's creepy.
They're not still there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the spirits.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that you guys want to talk to anyway. So, all right, what's the best part of this season that's out right now that you can watch? Again, it's called Destination Fear, and it's on Fridays at 9 p.m. It's on the Travel Channel, and you can stream it on Discovery Plus as well. What's the best moment from this season that you guys did?
I'll say one quick one. I think because the last 2 seasons we shot during COVID, so there was a lot of just limited traveling we could do, limited fun stuff. So this season was the first one in a minute where we've actually, the entire road trip was about a month and a half, and we had so many fun, cool pit stops that we got to do between the scary stuff. So it's kind of, I'd say this season more than ever has like a real roller coaster effect of like fun to really scary.
All right. Anybody else have like one moment that stood out to you?
I just think the location, the very last one we did, Norwich Hospital, it's like iconic hospital in US, and so many like what we'd call experimental procedures happen there. And it was just the whole night was just a crazy night. And so I would say that's like my favorite episode. How about you, Tanner?
Whoa.
I think the moment that you guys were asked about, there's one moment that just our last episode, we were in Crescent Sanatorium in prison, and we had this. For me personally, I was in the base, or not in the basement, but in this tunnel system of this whole entire location that has 22 buildings. This tunnel system connects all of them, and there's said to be some type of spirit that uses that tunnel system to go to all the buildings. And I was in the basement, and when I got freaked out. I heard some things, and I just got out of there. I was too freaked out. But Dakota edits our show, and when he was editing it, he brought me into the editing room, and he goes, "Dude, right when you were saying like you don't feel good, that you felt like something is near you, like all of a sudden all your audio starts like cutting out, and when you hear that noise and you go deeper into the tunnel, the audio just completely is gone." And then when you get nervous and you wanted to head on out of the building and just wait outside until the night's over, as you like start walking up the stairs and cross the threshold from inside to outside, your audio comes back just like that. And that's one of those things like where, you know, we all know cameras, we're looking at our wavelengths, we can see that it's happening, but for one reason or another, that's what happened to us.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty intense.
And it wasn't like we're using WAV mics either. So there's no like recorder. There's no, like, it's an internal microphone. So it doesn't make any sense. The microphone is a part of the camera. So it was we've never had that happen before. And you can see in the last episode, it's terrifying. What about you, Alex? What's been one of your moments this season?
I think when we went to Chelsea's location, the Winchester Mystery House in California, she had us all separate and kind of just wander the entire house. And if you're familiar, it's basically a maze within the house. But I had to go into the basement alone. And while I was sitting down there, I don't know what it was, but something charged right at me. I could hear the footsteps on the concrete floor. And yeah, I think that's like the loudest I've ever screamed in my life. And I'm not proud to say that, but you know, it happens.
Yeah.
So that was one of those defining moments for me of this season.
Whoa. It sounds terrifying. I don't know how you guys do, because I don't like being scared. Being scared, I've never understood people that like are really into creeping themselves out, because that's, I don't know, like being scared is a natural reaction to stay away from something that you don't want to have happen to you in the first place. So I don't know how you guys do it, but good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, we really, but when you're walking into a weird building in a dark spot, and you know, you just don't know what is around the corner or when you're going to get scared. Because again, like I said before, like we're in this building for 12 hours, and you know, there's like 10 hours where like nothing happens in the slightest, and it is dead quiet. And you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs, like I'm starting to get a little bored here. And all of a sudden, some big loud, some weird thing happens, and it just scares the living crap out of you.
All right. Well, last question for me, and then we'll let you guys go. But just amongst yourselves, who is the scaredest person in the group? Who's the one that you guys always have to like encourage to stick around?
Chelsea?
I will admit it. But
Probably me too.
that just means I have more battles to face than you guys while doing this.
So why is that fun for you to be so scared all the time?
So, couple things. One, I like watching scary movies. I love scary movies. And during the scary movie, sometimes I hate it. I'm freaked out and I'm like done with scary movies. But like a day later, I'm like right back to that thrill seeking. I want to watch scary movies. So I would relate it to that kind of fear. I don't like being scared, to be honest with you, but I really like seeing the guys scared. So that kind of gets me through.
Got it. I guess that's a fair answer. You like seeing other people scared, and it's just something that you have to tolerate in order to get to.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. All right. Well, check them out.
Though.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
You've been through a lot.
It's true. It's true. I didn't think I could do this, to be honest with you. I almost quit season 1, episode 1. Like legit.
Right off the start?
Right out the gates. Whoa. But I'm not a quitter, so here we are.
All right, love it. We can check it out right now. It's they air Fridays at 9 p.m. And you can see them on Discovery Plus streaming afterwards. So again, it's Destination Fear, Travel Channel, 9 p.m. And check them out on Discovery Plus as well. So Dakota, Chelsea, Tanner, Alex, thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. Good luck, guys.
Thank you for having us on here.
Good luck with the European trip, and get a dog. A dog would be awesome on this show.
You need a Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. All right, see you guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.